Hi, my name is Steven, and I make fonts as arrow type. I'm continuing on the process of making a bold version, or really maybe a black or ultra version of a typeface I've been working on for some time. This is called AT Kyrios, and it is a black letter with Lombardic capitals by default. Um, so yeah, without getting too deep into explaining it, because I've done that in previous videos, or you can learn more on my website, arrowtype.com. I'm just going to kind of get into editing these kind of final glyphs of the basic glyph set. And for a more global view for a second of this font, you can kind of see pretty clearly which glyphs I've edited so far and which glyphs are still there to go. There's quite a few left. But at the same time, I've made some pretty good progress and it's coming along nicely. So, um, yeah, the symbols will take time and the numerals will take time. But a really nice thing about type design is that a lot of glyphs are like accented letters where you can use the base glyphs as components. So that helps out a lot. Um, I'm using a, where is it? Basic tag. Okay, so yeah, this basic tag shows us that like we've already done a number of the alternates, kind of the full basic alphabet, and then we still have some alternates left to go. There's also, of course, going to be some refinement needed to make this really shine. Um, like seeing it from this level makes me feel like just at this sizing, I kind of wonder if some of these glyphs are maybe too closed up. So like the W, for instance, and maybe the X don't yet feel correct necessarily. Especially because they've got such tiny little interior spaces. But then again, maybe that kind of matches some of the rest of the family. So I don't know. I'm trying to not judge myself too harshly on this first pass. Why is this not letting me multi-select? Come on. So let's get into modifying and bringing these guys up to speed. Let's run the script to set up a spacing string here. This puts it between H's and O's and N's and O's to give me a bit of a head start. And I also, when I'm looking at this, I think what glyphs do I already have in the family that I could adjust into the form that I'm trying to build? And actually putting it next to this H is kind of insightful because it's got some real similarities right there. So I think what I'll try to do is let's run our little script to kind of put this in the background. Style prep. There it is. And let's show the background. And I don't want to show master compatibility at the moment. Let's delete this, paste that, flip it. So I really need this to come up there. So I'm just going to like fully slice it for a second. Come on. Okay. And let's just clear these out so we have a nice straight stem here. Here's where we're at thus far. I'm going to make this equal the left side of the H, or really the opposite side of the H. Let's show our side bearings and metrics here. It's often a little hard to know precisely which glyphs to delete, but we'll just kind of have to play with it a little bit. I'm going to hold my scaling edit command here. Which is control option. I just realized that my keycaster was showing up on entirely the wrong screen. So there, it still won't show the mod keys, unfortunately, but It might help somewhat. Okay. I guess I do want this to be like way up here, probably. So right now, this still looks pretty messy, of course. We'll get there. This may have to come up. Very likely will. Maybe to like there could work. I actually spent quite a bit of time this week drawing in RoboFont, so I'm probably going to be slightly rusty about some of this. But I'll get there. And we want to add a point. And something like this. I also want to add a point here. Make it a something like that. Where are we at? Okay. All right, let's remove the overlap and smooth that out. So now we've got this shape. My space bar is apparently repeatedly clicking rather than just being held. Does that happen on? Yep, okay. Didn't realize. I wanted to test if it would happen on both of my keyboards, like the one in the laptop as well as the external one. And it did, for whatever reason. Okay, we also are going to want a bar here. Let's grab our h.text perhaps. Hard to know. Something weird deliberately about this family is that the A has like a thick middle bar, which is pretty uncommon. Usually it'd be wrong, but I think this has so much thickness that the thin middle bar might feel better. I don't know yet. But we'll run with it for a minute. Okay, and I'm just trying to think of the point structure here so I can create something that matches it, which won't necessarily be super simple, but well, particularly here. It won't be that hard actually though. All right. And instead of keeping the other thing in the background, I'm probably gonna plop this in the background so I can kind of come back to it if or when I need to. All right, and then this corner still looks really kind of weird. Probably isn't yet compatible. I think I might have to get rid of this piece in the other master layers. It's probably maybe or maybe not needed. What is happening here? I see. Yeah, okay, it's totally not needed. Maybe this curve looks like 1% less perfect than before, but honestly, it looks good. And then that will allow us to be a little more loose with this area, which is pretty vital in this case. This has also got a flat top, but I really don't think that is needed. Oops. So let's also delete that just to simplify as much as we can. Usually it's pretty helpful to do that. Okay. And then Command Shift R to get our paths where we need them, or to set our start points. And then I guess there's one more thing missing. What am I missing? Let's smooth those out. I mean, this is kind of bad. I might have to do like the count point indices business. Oh, I see it. It's the bottom left as an extra point in the others. Kind of an extra little bit down there. Oh, and that made it compatible. Very cool. Okay. Let's insert this so we can kind of watch what we're doing as we're doing it. And did that not work? Okay, here we go. Whoa. Clearly that is a bit of a problematic area. Maybe the points aren't quite. I see. So this ratio is way off of the other two. That, and by the ratio, I mean this specific set of handles here. It's about a 60% of the way down on that one, and almost like 90% of the way down on this one, and yet here it's 50%. So we can kind of lengthen this and push it down a little bit there, and then that ratio roughly matches here, honestly. And so then here we can partly push that up and pull that back, and this should be getting us closer. And it may make this outline slightly less perfect, but what? All right, there's something going on here that's not quite right. It could, sometimes variable font preview messes up, so that could be having an effect. Let's view point indices again. Node indices. All right, so here we've got 65 and 16. I mean, it must be the same because it's interpolating. How does it look in the middle? So this is what I should actually probably be going by. This is more accurate to what the interpolation really looks like. It looks like this in the middle of this and that, so it's fine. I think it's just an instance where maybe variable font preview is getting slightly messed up by our curves or something. Okay, so that looks decent. Let's move on to here. This one is pretty much the M with the kind of bits of the A. Let's pull this guy to the background and then bring this one over and a.sso2, please, because we want, let's split these up and we can be kind of, in fact, let's just grab this whole thing and get it going in here. Option delete to open that up. And then, this was, the middle stem is a little narrower because otherwise the M gets really dense. Probably too dense. I see this is offset, so let's try to fix that. That's 83. This is 79, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Should make it pretty much symmetrical. Another thing I might honestly do is like there. So wait, is this? Oh, it was giving us the wrong thing because it was measuring these, probably. Oh well. Now we'll make it properly symmetrical for now. And then we've got this guy. Let's try to achieve a similar curve like that. Oops. And then delete these. And connect this. There we go. So I think that side is okay. Next, let's get this side. Cool. All right, we have an M and not yet the, let's pop these in the middle. Still got to do a big pass of that, but okay, so now what is amiss between them? Different start point. There we go. I was getting the correct start points for all layers wrong. Okay, so here we have that, and it looks pretty much okay. These could probably afford to come in a little bit. Just a better match. The other styles, kind of. Okay, I mean, that looks pretty good to me. Maybe felt like it had a bit of a hard turn, but that feels better. It looks like a weird, like, queen's crown or something. It's kind of a funny shape, isn't it? Okay, you know, we'd already done this W, and we might be able to use that somewhat. Maybe if we add the top from the L, it would work. Okay. Okay. Let's just add the top from the L. Cool. So we've already got a shape, but it's not right yet. But that's getting there. Now it's interpolatable, which is great news. Oh, we could probably just say V on this side and W. We better do it WSSO2 with a double equal, so it only applies to this particular master. And we're going to need to say -10 maybe. Okay, well, it's a start. I feel like this could probably get somewhat bigger. Just looks more balanced now, I think. All right, well, it's something. We've got the W now. So this is sort of a combination of our U and D, actually, in this particular family. And maybe a bit of that bit up here from the L. So kind of a little amalgamation, and instead of... Oh. All right. So let's start with that and then keep going from there. Oh, it has to be way wider, but you can really hear the wind today. Or at least I can. Let's give ourselves some more space on either side, honestly. Wow, this W is really leaning way too far over. I feel like that's a reason why it can't. Earlier, I started it from the N, but that causes a huge problem if the top goes way far over. It just would cause a spacing issue, more or less, and require more kerning to deal with, which I would rather not require. So after adjusting that, let's kind of grab this stuff again And pop it back in there. It's looking better already, I would say. Let's mhm. Oh, and then we need this deal. But pointing in the opposite direction. And something like there is probably about right. Okay. So we've got the basics going of this. And now we just have to refine it a bit. So I'm gonna remove the overlap first. And then nice. Did that in a fairly easy way. Same here. Okay. Okay. This looks a little bad. But you know, it's not too terrible. Yeah, I feel like this is honestly the part that maybe needs the most help still. Okay. We're getting there. Slowly by slowly. Okay. Right. This A is very simplified. It's more like this, really. Mm. Oh. Okay, so we're grabbing this one. And popping it down there. Let's stop showing the, oh no, that's not what I want. Stop showing the background for a second. There we are. Boom. And now we can reflect this. We'll have to make it a lot smaller. Or shorter, rather. Or maybe we make this whole thing wider. Probably a little bit of both. Looks okay. There's a script that's handy to put those guidelines on a highlighted segment. All right. Will just reflect itself. Let's give it the old crossbar. Somewhere like there, maybe. Okay. Pop that in the background so we can open these up. And make our shape smooth. Sick. Looks a little funky, but I think it's gonna be okay. I think this one should be a little bigger on the left side than the right side. Almost just for some visual interest. What happens if I... Okay. Oh, and then let's go. It is interpolatable now. All right, this is gonna take, like, this might, oh yeah, okay. Trying to get strategic here. Probably can't get that strategic, but this might get me part of the way there. Okay, so we're gonna take that, rewind it back. All right. We're gonna make these a lot longer. So they're almost closed. And then we're going to I'm going to grab the one that I made here. Because I know I want it to be symmetrical and a little bit smaller for a crossbar. So here we are. Let's rotate it by 90 degrees. And it's going to have to be way smaller. Okay. Well, I can do that starting with this. It's going to have to be smaller in like multiple directions. But I think we're getting there. Maybe I should also make it not come in as far. How are we doing this? Let's give it a little more interior space, at least. And then no, stop it. Come back here. What? There we go. Had to something I haven't been doing is using rounded corners very much, but this is a good instance where using them probably makes a lot of sense. The reason I don't draw this all as sharp objects, by the way, and then round corners on export, which you can do in Glyphs, is because primarily it wouldn't give me as much control of how the shapes actually are. But apart from that, I don't think it would give me much ability to finesse interpolations, or maybe even make interpolations work in general, like to create a variable font, for instance. And that would be a bummer. Okay, let's set this equal to E on either side. And this could be a lot wider, probably. Okay. I should probably make it like equals E minus 15 or something, because it's got a deeper kind of cutaway here and some open space. Okay. Here we're going to keep most of it, but then put on the top bit here. Wait, is it e.text? Which E was I working on? E.text. Okay. Well, I'll just copy and paste it. So we want this there, and then we want to copy this guy. And something in this guy. And maybe not move it out so far. This is very low in the other style, so I think it should also be pretty low here. And I guess it comes like all the way out. So it's quite a strange shape. But I think it kind of works as like a legible version of this, which is more of a traditional form, I would say. So let's actually boost this up by a good margin and then pull this up to kind of be in the same ballpark. Might as well open this now. Dock that. Connect that. Cool. This is looking way too sharp overall, so let's kind of bring it back. The E sort of more or less has to be pretty sharp, I think, in order for it to work in this very tight space. It's really just a tiny little nub there. Oh, oh no, it's not interpolatable yet. Let's try to figure out why. Probably the wrong number of points. Oh, yep, here. These have 2 points on the inside. Do they need it? A little hard to say, but we might be able to get away without it. Oh, now it's interpolatable. Cool. As is this one. All right. Sweet. We have finished our basic. No, we have not. Not quite. Not yet. All right, let's get there. And then I'm going to do a coffee break, I think. So really, this is just a much shorter version of this. It's gonna maybe be kind of hard to scrunch it up since it's so so bold. But let's find out. What does the other X look like? Okay, I'll try to match that slope maybe. And then we can delete this guy. Let's get a little more space here. Let's stop doing that so we can just make this look okay for a second. That's a lot shorter. It might work better. Okay. How are we doing here? Kind of coming along. Feels like we can maybe bring this one out further. Maybe more strokes than we need, but maybe not. Why is it not? Okay, it's the world's ugliest, but I see. We've got too many curves here. We can see in our other styles, we're kind of going directly that way and coming in. And maybe this could be a little bit refined, but it's the right general idea. And this is not yet the right general idea. Oops, wrong key. Okay. So that should come right out like that. That comes right out like that. Oops. I'll try to sort of reflect them a little bit here. I don't actually know whether this X has way too thin of a space here. And like if it probably gets way too wide. Like if we compare these counters, I mean, this X is probably way too narrow. I got 99 problems and they all exist in this one letter. At least this X is feeling, I would say, kind of more in the general vicinity of width as this. So maybe it's at a better place in a way. And maybe if we bring these down, they could help thicken this up. All right, these are super ugly, so I'm going to delete these things for a second, and then I could add the points once I get them looking kind of decent overall. By decent, I guess I mean balanced and the right amount of curvature. So I'm holding Option Shift to get the points automatically set to the sort of vertical or horizontal extreme. And actually, before I do that, I should move these things around a bit more. So, for instance, Okay. All right, well, it's still not the glyph I want, but why? It's almost like these have to come. Yes, oh my god, that's so much closer. Okay, sometimes you've got to stop thinking about making beautiful smooth curves and just think about getting the overall shape correct. Because then if you've got smooth curves, it'll kind of be very quick to get in the right ballpark again. But yeah, that looks so much better now that these actually feel more kind of connected. I like a little bit of a disconnect in an X kind of, but that was, I think, too much until a moment ago. And that's looking okay. So now we can kind of refine these corners once more and hope that it is somewhat interpolatable without being, without too many kinks, I guess. But I'll honestly probably do more testing on that later. Okay. It's in the ballpark. And then actually, this is probably somewhat close to the shape that might make sense here. Maybe. Mm-hmm. Okay, there we go. It's not closed yet. Oh, here it is. Come on. There we go. Cool. No, we don't have all the points we need just yet. For some reason. We had one too many points. Cool. This particular character, why? I feel like it's a character that I don't have full, well, this glyph rather. I don't have full confidence that it really fits in with the typeface overall. It feels like a notch or two too strange or too like try hard. I don't know. And it's definitely, it's just like the biggest swoopy tail in the entire family. So it kind of is certainly unique, if not wrong. Wait, oh, here we are. I think I mashed my keys and closed out of that. Okay. So now we've got our full set of caps for the basics, which is pretty sick. And all right, in typical celebration mode, let's make some word-o-mat random words here, and then apply the stylistic sets. And this allows you to preview stylistic sets that, for instance, you can set up in here. So curvy diagonal caps. These are referencing a bunch of classes that organize things. And I did not pick these words. They were picked at random from a dictionary. So I don't always know. There's probably a few words that are weird or unexpected or potentially offensive, but hopefully not. But type needs to say all words or to be able to say all words. So it makes sense to not edit the dictionary by too much. That said, I think the dictionary has, of this extension, has the basic terrible words edited out. One presumes / hopes. Cursively. It seems to have way too much space on his right side. But yeah, that looks kind of good to me, actually. So that's pretty good news. Let's pull up Word-O-Mat again and do capitalized words. And then we'll, oh, cool. We still have our, oh, but this shows that we have some work to do still to make these bolded. So that'll be next up. Yeah, I decided I should just do a time lapse for this section because this video is way too long already. But here we are making some extra lowercase text alt glyphs. The most fun part here probably is the lowercase r. I took some time to try to figure out how to kind of change the angle of the terminal of it so it fills the space a little better in the bolder weights. And I, was able to do it without any kinking. So I was excited for that. And then the X is actually kind of a tough little glyph here because you don't have very much space for it. But I think I kind of got it in the end. Lots of copying and pasting and flipping and transforming things around and just kind of ugly wrangling it into place. Same with the Z here, and then trying to fix it up. So yeah, kind of a good time, but kind of long. All right, and with that, I am pretty much done with this particular drawing session. At least, I've recorded plenty, so I'll probably step back and look at this a little more critically, and test it and everything. But as is my tradition, let's turn to Wordomat and see how things are looking now with our newly minted um, kind of legible letters. Let's see. So we've got higher legibility forms, stylistic set 3. And yeah, this is pretty cool to see. The E's and A's and S's and everything really suit this very thick style better because there's just not much space to incorporate all of those loopy swoopies. And yeah, there's a lot that could be improved here, no doubt at all. But this M looks terrible right now, so I've really gotta still figure out some of these things. I'm gonna kind of increase the contrast there, and maybe a little better. But yeah, there's lots to do. Let's do one final thing just so I can see how we're coming along. Let's extrapolate that display ultra and see how that looks. So it's the only active instance. And let's get a word I'm at here. Sick. Oh, we have a non interpolatable E. Let's fix that and try again real fast. E.s. Oh, okay. E.text. Okay, that's all it needed. Let's try this again. Okay. I'll have to figure out whether this display ultra should have the simplified forms or not. Maybe if I do some specific drawing here, it will make these things make more sense. Like right now, a lot of these are just kind of ugly, thick, and they could be a lot thinner because this is the display version. I keep hitting Command S out of habit. But pretty cool to see. Let's give us one all cap. Oh, the W is apparently not yet compatible. But if we can, oh god, a couple of those are not yet compatible. I keep hitting Command S out of. All right, I want to finish this. Let's look at incompatible here. That's a lot simpler. Okay, what about this is not yet compatible? Just kind of going back and forth here. Aha, it's there. I see. It needs this corner rather than the corner that's kind of borrowed from the letter D at the moment. Okay. Oh, it's still not compatible. What? Oh, I see. This is probably the reason. No. just kind of going back and forth, looking for areas where the structure changes. Aha, it's up top. I don't need this bit. Or at least the others aren't using that bit. I don't know if it needs it or not just yet, but... Node indices. Okay, this one has 64. Make node first. Aha, maybe that was it. Yes, okay. And then this is the remaining puzzle. Oh, that was easy. Okay. Let's generate instances one more time and see where we're at. Okay, yeah. Curve your diagonals, please. Sick. Okay, now that's what I call an extrapolation. I feel like the Y, yeah, just sticks out too much still, so I should maybe take a second think on that one to consider how else that Y might need to be. But, yeah, regular caps look honestly better in this, which isn't too big of a surprise, I guess, because the original source was a very condensed thing. But yeah, very cool. All right, well, I hope you maybe got something out of that, even if maybe it was just background noise or something of the sort. But if you're working on your own typeface or your own creative projects or your own stuff, hope it's going great. If it's not, keep pushing. Thanks for joining and have a great rest of your day.